Mr. President, I heard the Majority Leader's comments about the importance of moving on to the Veterans Bill. And so I have a suggestion. Why don't we send this political stunt on student loans to the Senate Education Committee, where the senator from Iowa, Senator Harkin, and I are busy working in a bipartisan way to reauthorize higher education, and let's move on to the Veterans Bill immediately. I mean, why should we take a week on a political stunt that everybody here knows won't pass when veterans are standing in line at clinics, waiting for us to act on a bipartisan solution to their problem? It actually goes further in giving veterans more choices of health care than anything we've ever done here. It actually begins to give veterans more of the same choices of health care in the same way we began to give them choices of higher education with the passage of the GI Bill for veterans in 1944, when we said to the veterans, here's the money, go choose your college. And that's what we're saying, would be saying here to veterans. We would be saying, if you have to stand in line too long, or if you live too far away from a veterans facility, here's the money, go choose your medical care. That's a very important step for millions of veterans. It deals directly with the problem that all of us on both sides of the aisle are chagrined about, veterans standing in line waiting for health care. So I have one question. Why should we spend a week on a political stunt? Why should we go all the way to next Monday before we dispose of it? Let's dispose of it today. Let's send it to the committee that's already considering these issues, and let's move on to the Veterans Bill before noon. We could do that, and the veterans and the people of this country would respect us for it. I thought we'd stopped the political stunts on student loans last year, when the president, to his credit, worked with the Republican House and a bipartisan group in the Senate, and we came to a result, a big result. It affects $100 billion of loans every year. Half the students in America have a grant or loan to help pay for college. And what we did was we got rid of the political stunt. We said instead of every election year, someone will come forward and make some preposterous proposal about what we can do in hopes that students might vote for them. We got rid of that by saying, let's put a market-based pricing system on the new student loans. And so the effect of that was to get rid of the semi-annual political stunt, and it had the effect of lowering the interest rate on loans for undergraduates by cutting it nearly in half. And undergraduate loans are 85% of the loans we make. So a 19-year-old student can get a loan to go to college at 3.86% without any credit rating. Has a right to do that. In some cases, can get a grant of up to $5,600 to help go to college. So we did that last year. And then this year, what we're doing in the Senate Education Committee is we've had 10 hearings. Now this isn't a committee that knows how to work. I mean, Senator Harkin, the senator from Iowa, we have big ideological differences in our committee, but that doesn't stop us from working, from doing our job. So we've passed 19 bills out of our committee, and 10 of them have gone through the Senate and turned into law. No other committee in the Senate can say that. And right now we're working on this very subject of the political stunt. So why not put the political stunt where it belongs, back in the committee that's already working on it in a bipartisan way, and let's go to the veterans who are standing in line and do what the majority leader said, which is let's deal with that issue. Now, why do I say this is not a serious proposal? It's not out of lack of respect to the sponsor. Of course, I have great respect for her and for other senators who are making the proposal. But let me outline why I say this is not a serious proposal, and everybody in the Senate knows that. They know it's not going to pass. So why would we be wasting our time on it? Number one, it does nothing, not one thing, for current or future students. If you're in college today, or if you're going tomorrow, this doesn't do anything for you. So don't let the rhetoric fool you. Number two, what does it do for people who used to be in college, who might have a loan that's paying off? Here's what it does, according to data supplied by the Congressional Research Service. It'll give you $1 a day. Now, this is for about half the people, former students, who have old loans. A taxpayer subsidy of $1 a day to help you pay off your student loan. Now, how big is that loan? For undergraduates, which is 85% of all the loans, it's $21,000. For graduates with a 4-year degree, it's $27,000. $27,000, probably the best investment you'll ever make. The College Board says if you have a 4-year degree, your lifetime's earnings will be $1 million more. $27,000 when you have no credit rating and you have a right to get it, and it earns you $1 million, a pretty good deal, I think. Pretty good deal, I think. It's about the exact amount of the average car loan. So what are we going to do next week? Instead of dealing with lines of veterans at clinics, somebody go come on the floor and say, well, people have a $27,000 car loan, so let's raise taxes and raise the debt and give them $1 a day to pay off their car loan. Or next week, the mortgage loan. Or next week, the credit card. This is not a serious proposal. It's not going to help people. It's not going to help people. College graduates don't need $1 a day tax subsidy to pay off their loan. They need a job. They need a job. And they're experiencing right now the worst situation for finding a job that they've seen in a long, long time. Now, Republicans have plans that would help create more jobs. We'd like to do what the president said, which was let's give the president more trade authority so we can sell more things in Europe and Asia. But no, we can't bring that up here. We'd like to approve the Keystone Pipeline, but no, we can't bring that up here. We'd like to repeal Obamacare, and particularly the parts that make it harder to create jobs, but no, we don't want to talk about that. We would like to at least change the provision of part-time jobs from 30 to 40 hours, which affects millions of American workers, but no, we can't get that up either. If we're going to talk about students paying back loans, they don't need $1 a day, they need a job. But my point is, why should we be wasting a week on this when we have veterans standing in line waiting for us to take up and deal with a bipartisan proposal that the majority leader just described? What else is wrong with this proposal? It could add up to $420 billion to the federal debt. Now, it does bring the money with it to eventually pay it off, we hope, but it adds to the debt. And the Congressional Budget Office says the national debt is rising at a rate that the interest payments will go from around $200 billion to around $800 billion in 10 years. We'll be spending more on interest in 10 years than we do on national defense. It increases individual income taxes, $72 billion, with what I would call a class warfare tax. That tax has been rejected 8 times by the United States Senate, 7 times on a motion to proceed. There already is a way to lower your payments if you're a student with a loan and your monthly payments are too high. It's in the law. The president talked about it this week. It's called the Income Repayment Plan. And it would lower your monthly payments $60 more a month if you're a typical undergraduate, and $330 more a month if you're a typical graduate student. You can do that today. That's a bigger savings on monthly payments than in the proposal that we're debating today. And in addition to that, let's say this proposal were to pass the United States Senate, it could not be sent to the House. It's unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional. You can't originate a tax in the United States Senate according to the Constitution. So why would we pass it if we can't send it to the House? Next, it violates the Budget Control Act. We passed a law that said we couldn't spend any more than X. This violates that act. So, Mr. President, if it gives you $1 a day to pay off a $27,000 loan, at a time when your college degree will earn you more than $1 million, if the car loans for undergraduates are about the same as, if the loans for undergraduates are about the same as car loans, if it raises the debt by $420 billion, if it raises taxes by $772 billion, if there's already in the law a way to lower your monthly payment more than this proposal without raising taxes, without raising the debt, without passing a law, if it's unconstitutional, even if we pass it, we can't send it to the House, if it violates the Budget Control Act, why would we waste time on it when veterans are standing in line waiting for us to take up a bipartisan proposal to give them more choices for medical care? Why would we do that? And right behind the veterans is the senator from Maryland, Senator Mikulski, and Senator Shelby from Alabama, with a series of appropriations bills. They have bipartisan support too. They've been through the committee too. We haven't passed appropriation bills in the last 4 years. 2 of those years we passed 0. 1 of those years we passed 1. They're ready to do the job on both sides of the aisle. And then why would we spend time on this if it doesn't deal with the real issues? Students with loans don't need $1 a day to pay off the loan. They need a job. We have proposals for jobs. The real problems with student loans are complexity and overborrowing. 90% of the loans we read about in the paper over $100,000 are graduate loans. Only 2% of the loans are over $100,000.
The senator from Tennessee that he has 3 minutes remaining.
Thank you. I'll reserve 1 minute, and let me conclude in this way. What would be the right way to deal with this? Vote no. A no vote means no to a week-long political stunt. No to debt and taxes. Yes to moving today to a bipartisan solution to the problem of veterans standing in line at clinics. Yes to appropriations bills after that deal with cancer research and national defense and the other urgent needs of our country, also in a bipartisan way. Yes to the way the Senate ought to run, and it would mean no to the practice of pulling a bill out of your pocket, putting it on the floor, and wasting a week with a political stunt while veterans are standing in line at a clinic waiting for us to act. So, Mr. President, I would suggest that the right thing to do today is to vote no, send the bill and the discussion about student loans to the Education Committee. We can work with the President and get a result just like we did last year, and let's move on to dealing with a bipartisan solution to veterans who are standing in line waiting for us to act. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.